Welcome into another hour of CBS Sports HQ, presented by Geico. Jeremy St. Louis alongside Grace Remington. And Grace, last week, producer Noah, one of our producers here on Friday, was walking around and basically just reminding everyone that this was the final day of like the sporting season without football. Now, football season underway as of Saturday, and he came in today feeling very good about himself because now it is officially underway.
You know, I would say producer Noah is correct. We were kind of like stuck in the dog days of summer there, but at least in Nashville, where I'm living, we had SEC Media Days in town, so now we got some new college football headlines. And now this week, NFL training camp officially is beginning, and HQ is bringing you on tour with us to cover the biggest storylines of the preseason. Today, we're at the home of the reigning Super Bowl champs in St. Joseph, Missouri, where Patrick Mahomes is set to rewrite the record books once again. Check out these two stats. If the 27-year-old has another 12-win season under center, he'll have the most wins by a quarterback in their first 7 NFL seasons. And if he throws for 29 touchdown passes, he'll have the record for most touchdown passes through a player's first 7 seasons. What do you think, Jeremy? That sounds pretty doable.
I think it's probably going to be pretty doable, yes.
12 wins, 29 touchdowns, yeah, we'll put our money on that. Here's something else you can put your money on. No surprise, Mahomes leading the board for NFL MVP with odds of plus 650. He's followed by Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson. Before the start of camp, here's our Jonathan Jones as Mahomes and the Chiefs try to go back-to-back.
Jonathan Jones alongside Patrick Mahomes. I don't need to go through your list of titles, but you got a couple MVPs, a couple Super Bowls, all those things. Happy to have you. Obviously, you want to add to those Super Bowl titles, and the work starts here. You've been in this position before, though. You win a Super Bowl, you're at training camp, and getting ready and trying to get there. What did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, I think just learning not to be satisfied. Even the last run that we had where we lost in the Super Bowl, I felt like we won a lot of games, and at the end we didn't have enough. And I think that this year we have to know that even if we're winning games, even if we're having early success, we have to keep building. Every year is a tougher year, especially this year in the AFC. And so I think everybody's got to know that why we're here every single day, starting in training camp and working our way throughout the season. So
how do you remind guys of that? Because I have to imagine it's easy. It can be easy for some folks to say, well, we've been in 5 straight AFC title games. What's a 6th? Or some of the rookies who come in here and they see all the success and think maybe that's a given. How do you impress upon them that it's not?
Yeah, you just have to motivate guys at practice every single day. Like you said, we had a lot of young guys last year that won the Super Bowl, and I remember being in that position early in my career, and you think it's just going to happen. But you have to remind those guys that it's a brand new year every single year, and I'm just excited for these guys to accept the challenge. We've had a great start to training camp, and let's keep building and be even better than we were last year.
And so what are you telling these guys out here? Because it can be the second day at training camp, and maybe it's a little lighter, but you got to tell them, you got to push them constantly, right?
Yeah, I think it's been great, though, that we have a lot of guys that love to compete. And I think a lot of great teams, it's about battling every single day at practice. You want to practice to be harder than games. And I think that's what makes great teams great is that you compete every single rep, and our defense is competing against the offense competing against the defense, and then on special teams, guys are going out there and trying to win their rep. That's what it takes to be a great football team is everybody competing every single rep.
Couple new, younger wide receivers that you have out here, specifically Rashee Rice, and then, of course, Sky Moore trying to take that next step in year 2. What have you seen so far from them?
It's been great so far. I mean, those guys have really accepted the challenge. We're really, really deep at receiver. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. You might not have that one guy that's kind of that Tyreek in the past or whatever that position is, but I think as far as depth and guys, I mean, everybody that hops in that group and hops in that huddle, I really expect that they can go out there and make plays happen, and I think it's going to make us a dangerous football team because you don't know where it's going to come from.
We're talking with Andy yesterday, and he was talking about how it's like a farmer where the work's never done with you, and that the greats want to be coached hard, and there wants to be specific things, maybe a footwork thing here or there. Give me an idea of like a curveball Andy is throwing at you, or maybe a coaching point that, you know, you're not resting on your laurels.
Yeah, I think he just always keeps you on your toes. I mean, I know like some days these training camp practices get really long, and it's not a game, but he treats it like a game, and he'll be in the middle of a long drive, and it's not necessarily first, second down, third down. They're just switching it up, and he'll just look at you and be like, "Hey, what down is it?" And you're like. You like look over to the side. He's like, "I don't know. You don't look. I want you to know what down is before every time you step in that huddle, or what the down distance is, or he'll ask you how much time was on the play clock when you snapped the ball." And it's those little things I think that the great quarterbacks really master is not taking a rep for granted, not just going through the motions of the read, making sure you go through your process so that when you get in the game, you do that process every single time, and then it's just second nature. It's not something that you have to really think about.
5 AFC title game appearances. You got in the past 4 years, 2 Super Bowl wins, another appearance there. Is this Chiefs team a dynasty?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're the beginning of one. I think in dynasties, I always say you got to win 3. And our job is to do whatever we can to win as many as we can and not have any regrets we step off the field. And I think if we keep the mentality that we have, then we can look back at the end of our career and then we can decide if we're a dynasty or not.
After 1, how badly did you want 2? And now after 2, how badly do you want 3?
I think you want it just as much every single year. At least I do. I mean, it's such a great feeling when you win that Super Bowl. To be able to enjoy that all season. I think me and Travis enjoyed ours, and to be able to have that and know all the hard work that you put in here paid off. I think that is more satisfying than anything else. Just knowing that hard work wasn't taken for granted. You really went out there and did it, and it was a long process, but you got it done.
Yeah, you definitely enjoyed it. A few Coors Lights along the way.
Yeah, a few of them. I had to put them down for the season though. So we're back at it. Get my essential water, my BioSteel, and let's get ready to go.
There you go, Patrick Mahomes. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jonathan Jones. Now here's where the HQ training camp tour is going next. We're staying on the West Coast for a while. Wednesday, heading to the Chargers, followed by the Rams. Then going to America's team, the Cowboys, on Friday. And next week we'll be at the San Francisco 49ers.